Hello and welcome to Big Weekend here on the Football365 show, brought to you by Paddy Power. I'm your host Mark Smith. I'm here as ever with Sarah Winterburn. We've got a lot to talk about, including the Merseyside derby. We've got Southampton, who, I don't know what's happened there, but they're home to Chelsea. And, of course, we've got Man City, the definite champions for this season and the next 10 seasons, away at Arsenal. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like and subscribe and press the notification bell so you never miss a show ever again going forwards. This is Big Weekend, brought to you by Paddy Power. Right, Sarah, let's start with the first game of the weekend, Friday night, Wolves versus Leeds. For me, this is very much Beauty and the Beast. Disgust.
Yeah, Wolves have got terribly dull, haven't they? I think we've kind of ignored for the last couple of years that they always were a little bit dull.
I know, say it quietly.
We were all a little bit like, how can you be dull when you've got Jose Mourinho, Ruben Neves in the middle? But actually, the way they play is very risk averse, and using that pace on the counter attack from Traore and now from Neto. So they're not a great team to watch, and Leeds are exactly what we asked for them. We asked them last week, didn't we? We said, look, you're not going to go up. You're not going to go into Europe. You're not going to go down. Now you just need to have some fun, entertain us. And they did exactly that against Arsenal, didn't they? They were absolutely rotten defensively, like beyond rotten defensively, and yet you just knew they'd nick at least a couple of goals, and they did. And so that's what we've got on Friday, haven't we? That Santo will set Wolves up to try and sort of block Leeds out through the middle and through, so they'll try and sort of negate that sort of chaos that Leeds like to, that's the thing with Leeds. They want to put chaos on the game. They want you to think that you don't know what you're doing because you don't know where they're coming from. You don't know what's going to happen. That sometimes works against them. Sometimes it works for them. And it's working for them just enough, I think, to stay out of trouble this time round. I think next season may be a different matter. I think they might have to revisit what they've done this season.
Well, let's not worry about that for now. Let's just congratulate them on how good it is.
Let's worry about Friday night instead.
Yeah, you know what I'd like to see? I'd really like to see these Wolves players playing for Bielsa. I mean, I think there's so much individual talent there. Neto, you mentioned a second ago. I don't know where they've got him from or how they found him, but he just looks unbelievable. And along with Traore and, of course, Jimenez is out at the moment. It's very frustrating that they play with this handbrake on because I think that could be an exciting side.
On paper, losing Diogo Jota is basically they knew they could do that because they knew they had Pedro Neto looking at least as good. And I think that's really impressive, isn't it? And it would have been interesting to see what they could have done this season with Raul Jimenez. A massive miss. They're a complete centre forward in the real sense of getting your head on everything in the box.
Yeah.
And they really do miss him. But Friday night will be interesting. A real clash of styles. And you can imagine the Wolves players looking towards the bench, thinking, "Oh, we want to get the handbrake off. Can we play for him?"
Swap at half time. Should be an interesting game, I think. Let's move on. I want to talk about Southampton versus Chelsea. Every weekend now is big for both these sides. Southampton, they're not going down. Of course they're not going down. But it really looks like a pretty slippery slope at the minute. It's only 6-8 weeks ago we were raving about Southampton and Hasenhüttl. And now it looks like that 9-0, that second 9-0, has seemed to have demoralised this group.
Stop the count seems a long time ago now, doesn't it? Top of the league. Let's call it. To the champions. And now, you say they're not going to go down, but actually, they probably won't.
They're not going down. Come on.
They will. Very small chance they will. But if they don't pick up another point, they'll go down. Fulham are good enough to pick up enough to put pressure on those teams above them, I think. And if they can get within 4 or 5 points of Newcastle and Southampton, who are both looking weary already, we might just get a slightly interesting end to the season. It's funny with Southampton, is that any other manager, everyone would have been asking for his head already. It's because he's already been through this. We assume it'll be
he's travelled. He's travelled, boy.
That's bizarre, isn't it? It's like the second 9-0 actually gives you more of a chance than the first 9.
Yeah.
It's like, this is just what they do.
This is one of those things. Let's talk about Chelsea. They look great. They look like a completely rejuvenated side.
They look great. Funny what being coached by a man who knows anything about tactics will do. They look a completely different side. All those play. Now it seems like he's having a right laugh, isn't it? It's like picking every player that Lampard wasn't having any of. Picking Kepa for a Premier League game. That is the ultimate. Just for a laugh, isn't it? To Lampard, that's fantastic. I can't wait till next season when he presumably plays Batshuayi, Drinkwater.
Drinkwater's back in as captain.
Baba Rahman, get Baba Rahman back. Make him look like a world beater.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. So, above Liverpool. I mean, this is great, isn't it? This really does set up, we can say that the title's gone. Man City probably going to win that. Relegation all but sealed up, unless Newcastle and Southampton really do stop picking up any points whatsoever. But the interest really is going to be in those Champions League places, isn't it? That, Liverpool being sixth at this stage of the season really is great fun.
It is, yeah. In that game, as part of my Paddy Power four-way accumulator, I'm going Timo Werner to score anytime. Of course I am. Look,
he's back. He's back.
We praised him. We slagged him off. We're back to praising him again. He works hard. He's always there or thereabouts. He tries his best. He gets into positions to miss, and now it looks like hopefully he turned a corner. He can start
Positions
scoring.
To score, hopefully. Yeah.
Absolutely right. Let's move on. This probably should have led the show. Really, it's the Merseyside derby, and I know we've been saying this. I don't mean me and you personally, but it's been said over the last few years. Every time a Merseyside derby comes around, this is the biggest one for years. This one feels like it. This one feels like a really big one, a really important one. They're both very close to each other in the table. Everton with game in hand, 2 games in hand, in fact. Anything can happen. Liverpool looked good midweek in the Champions League. Everton are all over the place. I don't know which one you're going to get whenever they step on the field. So what's going to happen here?
That's the thing, isn't it? It's whichever Everton turns up. I think Liverpool are what they are at the moment. There's not a great deal of, they did look good against Leipzig. Leipzig played into their hands massively. They played a high line. They gave them the space that no Premier League team is giving them at the moment. No Premier League team is playing Liverpool and pushing up towards the halfway line. That's nonsense.
Very weird to watch.
Very bizarre. Anyone who's seen Liverpool play, you would know what to do. Just pack your defence. Go. Anyway. Everton will do that. Ancelotti will do that. Everton will play quite defensively. They'll be quite happy to do that. A lot depends on whether Dominic Calvert-Lewin is fit. Yes. I think they look a different side without him, without that focal point. But it just feels massive. Everton are everything that Carlo Ancelotti doesn't want at the moment. They're unpredictable. He would like them to be far more predictable than they are. Yeah, he'd give up some of those amazing electric performances and just not to lose to Fulham, really. But if Everton turn up and Richarlison fancies it and Hammers fancies it, this could be a cracker. It really could. Then Ancelotti is too clever to fall into Klopp's hands. He'll not allow them to play. I'm not expecting a load of goals, but I'm expecting a decent match, certainly.
Well, I'm going over 3.5 goals.
This is where you're going to go out with a load
absolutely.
of goals.
I don't think either team can defend still. I'm not convinced at all by is it Kabak, the new Liverpool centre-back. He looks haunted already, like he's been kept up all night by a poltergeist. I just think if Calvert-Lewin's back, he's going to occupy those 2 defenders, whether it's Henderson and Kabak, whoever it is. But if he's not, I still see goals happening. So over 3.5 goals for me in this one. By the way, if you miss out on one of these 4-way accumulators, if you get 3 out of the 4, you will get your money back by way of a free bet from our old friends at Paddy Power. Right, let's move on. West Ham versus Spurs. West Ham, best team in London?
Apart from Chelsea. West Ham, who saw it coming? Well, actually, we should have all seen it coming, shouldn't we? This is, David Moyes has created that old Everton side at West Ham.
Yes.
Never going to challenge for the title, but if you can hang around 5th, 6th all season, then there's always that one season where it kind of, someone else has a mare and you end up in, as Everton did that one season, end up in the Champions League places. Yep. He's made them, he's made them incredibly solid, as you would expect. The signing of Souček has been an absolute, that partnership between him and Rice in midfield is phenomenal. One of the best in the Premier League, never mind one of the best outside the Big Six. They're obviously missing a striker, but they seem to be getting enough goals from elsewhere. I mean, trying to go the whole season without a striker is quite a, it's quite a bold move.
It's so frustrating.
But if anyone's going to do that, it's David Moyes, isn't it? Who really didn't really fancy strikers at Everton. Quite often played Tim Cahill and Marouane Fellaini is the most forward player. Fellaini, that was fun, wasn't it? So he, again, West Ham, you're never going to go, oh my God, I'm desperate to watch West Ham this weekend, but. You know what you're going to get, don't you?
And you know what, though? There's some strength and depth there in attacking positions. Okay, not at number 9, fine. But the other night they took off Lingard, who has been fantastic since going there, and brought on Ben Rama, who another creative player who can... That strength and depth they've not had in that position for a long, long time. Spurs, on the other hand, not dissimilar to Everton in a way. I don't know what's going to turn up.
Well, it's usually rubbish, let's face it. I mean... And I know Spurs fans who actually wanted them to lose a couple in a row to get rid of Jose. That's how bad it's got. That's how they're feeling. That they just want this to end. We're in the Jose Mourinho death cycle. We're going to get there eventually. No. It's almost like people want to fast forward it to that point.
Yeah.
And every time that they losing a game 5-4, the hockey score that Jose Mourinho derided years ago, that he loses by that. Anyone else might think, we can score 4 goals. Let's keep going at this, attacking way of thinking.
It's the opposite.
He thinks, oh no, we let in 5. We've got to get more defensive. That's his way of thinking, and unfortunately, that's not the. We can all laugh at the idea of a Tottenham way or the Spurs way, but this doesn't fit with that club. No. This idea of we'll just give you the ball and we'll defend deeper.
Well, we're getting a fast forward Mourinho. Let's fast forward through this because it's just depressing talking about Spurs. As part of my accumulator, that game is Lingard anytime for me. He's going to continue his fine form and get a goal this time. Right, final game we're going to talk about today, Sarah. Arsenal versus Man City. Anything other than a Man City comfortable win here?
Very hard to see that, isn't it? Man City strolling, aren't they now? They've worked it out. Pep Guardiola worked it out how to play in this season. Keep the ball, keep it moving, don't expend too much energy. And the way that they play on the ball means that they're a cut above everybody else. Arsenal might want to be Man City. They're so far away from being Man City at the moment. They have little... every time that you take one step forward, they take 2 steps back at the moment. And against Man City, you can't be taking any steps back because you're going to get battered. And, you wouldn't be surprised by a 3 or 4-0 here, would you?
No, but Arsenal, we both like Arsenal. And I think they do seem like a team with a bit of a second life here at the moment. So, I don't know, but I still can't see. I can't see both teams scoring. And that's my bet here is both teams to score no. I just can't see that Man City back 4 getting punctured at any point. I mean, at the weekend, you had Man City, Ruben Dias sat it out. Laporte came in, looked like he hadn't missed a minute of football all season. They just have a good defensive unit. They know what their roles are. I do wonder if it's a symptom of maybe this Premier League not being particularly strong. Maybe I think maybe it's a tough season to talk about that potentially. But Man City, the only team that's shown any consistency, and they're running away with it now.
They will, and they've not had to be brilliant to do it.
No.
I think that's the thing with this season, is that they've not had to be phenomenal. They're not the Man City of 3 years ago, but they don't need to be. This is as good as they need to be to probably win this title by 10, 12 points. And, it won't be remembered for that. That's the sort of shame. Man City do play really good football. It probably won't be remembered for Man City playing really good football. It'll be remembered as the season, the sort of ghost season, probably. But,
I just want, come on, I want a title race. Pick yourselves up, Man United. Sort yourselves out, Leicester. Let's have a proper title race. Right, Sarah, thank you for joining me today.
Come on, West Ham!
Yeah, come on, West Ham. Yeah, why not? This has been Big Weekend, brought to you by Paddy Power. Look at that, throwing up the iron sign as well. I thought you were meant to be impartial. It's ridiculous. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us. It's the editor at football365.com. Right, we'll be back same time, same place next week. Goodbye.